It's time for a tale of two presidents. There's Joe Biden, who gave out early Christmas presents to some of America's most vile killers, commuting the death row sentences of 37 people. And then there's Donald Trump, who told those same killers to go to hell. Strong words from a strong leader, because Trump knows the cruelty that Joe Biden just unleashed. He took killers like Marvin Charles Gabrion off death row. Gabrion was convicted of killing 19-year-old Rachel Timmerman before she could testify against him in a rape case.
She was handcuffed, her eyes bound, blinded with duct tape, her mouth bound, held mute with duct tape, wrapped in chains, weighted with concrete blocks, and thrown into Oxford Lake alive.
Gabrion was also accused of killing Rachel's 11-month-old daughter, Shannon. Her body was never found.
I want the man that murdered my daughter to know that he is going to be put to death, just as Rachel knew on the shores of Oxford Lake that she was going to be put to death.
Joe Biden took that justice away from them, just like he did the families of Alice Donovan and Samantha Burns. The two women were raped and murdered by Chadrick Folks and Brandon Basham in 2002, after the pair escaped from prison and embarked on an alleged 17-day crime spree. Both men were sentenced to death row, but Biden just took them off of it. Same goes for Brandon Council, who was convicted of killing two women during a bank robbery in 2017. He shot bank teller Donna Major multiple times. Then he did the same to Catherine Skeen, who was hiding under her desk. He then stole one of their cars. Donna Major's husband, Danny, and their daughter, Heather Turner, join me now. Thank you both for joining us. This is tough. It's got to be amazingly tough for your family. Explain to us, maybe we could start, Danny. Tell us what your wife went through and what happened. He got convicted, but did the Biden administration, did Joe Biden, did they ever tell you why they did what they did?
No, they never told us why they did what they did. My belief is that they knew all along that he was going to do this. It started out about 6 months ago that our prosecuting team contacted us and told them that he was going for an appeal for a commutation, and they refused to visit with us in person in Washington, which was a request that we made. We got a short internet interview with them for about 10 minutes, and apparently it fell on deaf ears. Go ahead.
That's frustrating. It's very frustrating that President Biden can have this power. You know, he wasn't charged for his own mishandling of classified documents because he was too old, and they said his memory was failing. He only proved that he's not capable of making presidential decisions at the presidential debate in June. So the fact that we are in this position today is so frustrating, that Biden is able to do this and that there's really nothing we can do. Our hands are tied.
He's a disgrace to the presidency of the United States.
Yeah.
He truly is. He's a senile old man.
Heather, I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I read, I think, that you had forgiven this killer, but there are consequences for somebody's action, right? What did the jury say, and what do you believe should have happened?
Absolutely. I have forgiven this man. And to be honest, I know that President Trump's words are strong, and I don't want that for Brandon Council. I don't want him to spend his life in hell. I want him to know Jesus Christ is his personal savior. But that doesn't mean he doesn't deserve consequences. There are still consequences for the choices that we make. And Brandon Council made the choice that day to go in and kill my mother and to kill the other woman, Katie Skeen, in the bank. And that deserves a consequence. At this point, I feel like
back to how this process. Sorry, Danny, let's go back to this process here. How far before Christmas, who is it that actually called? Did you get a call? Did you get an email? How did this actually work?
Well, our prosecution team called us the night before. Joe Biden was supposedly going to commute these sentences to make us aware of that this was going to be going on, that it was the decision had been made already. So at that point, there's nothing we could do. His defense team during his appeal had 300 pages of why he should not be sentenced to death, including racial comments about that the trial was a racist, racially motivated, the conviction or not the conviction, but the sentencing. I just don't understand why 37 sentences commuted, but yet 3, which I believe were politically motivated, were not. I can't understand why my wife's life is worth less than theirs. How does that? I mean, if he's so convicted.
Danny,
yes, sir.
Danny, my question for you is, I believe that this killer confessed to the killing, is my understanding it. But Danny, what's your message to President Biden tonight?
My message to President Biden tonight would be, I don't believe that you have any convictions. I believe that you have no problem with millions of babies being killed in the womb, unborn babies. You have no problem with the 3 people who did not get commuted sentences. So where are your convictions? And then to listen to the Pope, tell him that he should not continue along with these death sentences is another thing that I don't understand. I don't know understand what the Pope should have to do with our rule of law.
Danny and Heather, I feel for you. Our heart goes out to you. This holiday season, it's got to be tough for this news to come right before Christmas and to have to go through this. Our hearts go out to you. God bless you. And just know there are a lot of people that care about you and care about your wife and your mom having gone through that. And you shouldn't have been treated like that. You really shouldn't have. But thank you for joining us tonight on the Ingraham Angle.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.